Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to YOMP. We are a movie discussion podcast. It's Ye Old Movie Podcast. That's what YOMP stands for. And we also stand for women here. And that's why I, Simon Honeydew Lane, have two female co-hosts. They are G-Star Games and Booth. Both introduce yourselves. Go.
Hi, I'm G-Star Games.
Simultaneously.
Hi, I'm Sophie Booth. I like retro games, and I'm amazing.
I like anime and I can't concentrate on anything.
Wow. Wow. The roast. Holy shit.
Not really a roast, is it?
She's not wrong.
Well, it's true. Certainly true.
Perfect.
So, we are discussing the film Bram Stoker's Dracula this week. And this is a me pick, my second pick in 2 weeks, which means I'm locked out from the role at the end of the episode.
It's like Crystal Maze. I'm not going to spend any crystals on you because we need all the time in the dome that we can get here. Sorry.
It's true. That's so true.
So funny you added it to the list, and it was like, yep, getting picked.
Yep.
The dice
Time to watch it.
It just immediately got picked as soon as I added it. It was fate.
The dice gods knew what they wanted, and here we are.
Here we are.
They
again.
wanted Anthony Hopkins acting fucking mental.
Oh, he was my favorite. Loved
so
him.
good.
He's such a nutcase. I love him so much. And he's a cat guy, too.
Is it? Oh, yeah, he is. He is a cat guy.
Yeah.
What, a furry?
No. No. He's got like, I don't know if he's got one or two, but I always see videos of him with his cat, and he's like playing on the piano, and his cat's like, up near his face, and he's disturbing him while he's trying to play the piano and stuff. It's so cute.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's very wholesome.
The Sir Anthony Hopkins?
Yes.
Sir, right.
He is a knight of our kingdom of
Ooh.
the United.
Fancy.
This film is 2 hours long, and knowing our track record of going through things scene by scene, and then even with a 1.5 hour movie, it ends up well over 2.5 hours of chat. We're going to take a different approach for this one. We're just going to kind of dip in and out of the story of the film, chat about what we liked, chat about what we didn't like, chat about absolute bollocks as per usual. So, Simon, would you like to sum up the story?
In a kind of a brief manner?
In a brief manner, if you would,
I could
please.
just read out my 7 pages of notes
You
from
could
beginning
do.
to end.
Sure, that sounds good.
My
Let's
notes
do
don't
that.
make much
Prologue
difference.
time. The first shot of the film is a cross. Oh my god. Right. So this is a film, an adaptation of the famous novel Dracula by Bram Stoker. I don't know if you could figure that out from the title of the film.
Well,
Sometimes.
maybe some people would assume it's the director. You know what I mean? Instead of
Right.
yeah.
Bram Stoker directed this. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
Still going after all these years. That's
Came back
amazing.
just for this.
So it was serialized and then published. Everything was serialized back then, in Victorian times. And, all the great novels that all the Charles Dickens stuff, it was all in serialized format. So you get like a little pamphlet-like thing, and that would be like a chapter of one of these novels before
I
it
love
was
that
published in
idea,
book
honestly.
form.
I think that's a fucking really good idea. It was like telly for back then, because you get it.
Yeah,
You have to
just
wait
get
every
it.
week.
Exactly.
You have to wait every week for your next episode, don't you? It's exciting.
Exactly. So this was published in 1897, which is when the film is set.
Mm.
Crazy, I know. this isn't the first book about a vampire that got popular. That was like 50 years prior with Varney the Vampire.
Varney. What, Reg
Yeah.
Varney?
No, I think it's like Reginald Varney or something. Sir Reginald Varney or Lord Reginald Varney. It was kind of a satire on the rich, like feeding off of other people.
Hog.
But it was not. It's not a good book. It was also serialized because everything was.
Why wasn't it good? As in, like, it's crap or it's...
It's all over the place.
So
It's completely.
Francis
It
Varney.
clearly wasn't planned out ahead at all. So, but I mean, he's one of these vampires that walks around in daylight, much like our Dracula does.
I was going to say,
albeit
yeah.
in weakened form.
He-
A day walker.
He's a day
as
walker.
they call it in Blade.
At least...
Blade.
Is it
Yeah.
Blade?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've kind of coined it a lot throughout media. I don't know where it first came from, but at least it doesn't fucking sparkle. Just put it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to properly summarize it. So, essentially, it's a love story. We have Dracula, who is looking to buy property in London. Jonathan Harker has to go and visit him to make arrangements for that. Jonathan has a fiancée, Mina, who resembles Dracula's dead wife. And so Dracula becomes besotted with her, seduces her and her friend. And tragedy ensues. There's all sorts of antics. There's incredible effects of monstrous things happening. And a weird chase at the end when everything feels quite rushed. Because they have to get to him before the sun sets.
I like you describing it as antics.
yeah. It's a film filled with antics. It's set in both London and Romania, in Transylvania, of course. And the action cuts between the two places, and people travel back and forth.
Why was he trying
and
to
it's-
buy property in London anyway?
I don't think it's really established all that well
Right.
what his plan was exactly.
Especially because I think Keanu's Jonathan at one point goes to him, why in these locations, Mr. John Dracula?
There's
John.
10 specific locations. Vlad, his name is. There's 10 specific locations in London that Dracula wants to buy, and it's not really explained why those locations
Yeah.
are important.
Yeah, so it's like,
One is an abbey that's in ruins, that's opposite an insane asylum.
yeah, which is so damn funny to me. And you got Renfield screaming like a maniac for like any time he's on camera, he's just wallowing and he's mental.
It's Tom Waits, the singer and poet, as Renfield, as you can tell from his voice.
Yes.
He is incredible in
He
it.
is very
Oh,
good.
he's very good. Yeah, I'm not saying he's bad, but Jesus Christ.
So in terms
I love
of
the-
cast, we've got quite a bloody good lot, haven't we?
I have also come to the conclusion that, like, I don't know, I was always like on and off about my opinion on this, but I don't think Keanu can act at
He's
all.
fucking shit.
Wow.
He's fucking garbage.
He can't act.
He's
Like,
the
I
worst.
love him. I love him so much, but he can't act. And I don't
Especially
know.
in this.
Oh, especially in this. Like,
I think he's good at certain things. He's very good at looking confused.
yes.
yeah.
Like he doesn't understand what's going on.
Yes.
Which is why he's so
Now,
good
I'm
at
not sure if that's acting or not, though.
It is.
so good at doing fucking Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Yeah. Very clueless. Very clueless characters.
teen. Yeah.
I think he's good at the like silent protagonist, facial expression, movement, not saying a lot of words type of acting. Like in John Wick, where he's like, I need guns. And then like he's only got like 3 lines every so often, right? And he can sort of pull it off. And he's good at the action stuff. But everything else, I don't think he's that
No, I don't think he's good.
convincing.
Shall we talk about his accent? And
I mean,
it
that's
was very controversial at the time. People were People weren't really divided about it. It was almost universally hated by people.
Because it's shit.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good.
There are parts when he just about gets away with it, I think.
Sometimes.
Like at the start, it seems okay. Like he's being quite quiet and gentlemanly in the solicitor's office.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But then there's like when he's at when Van Helsing is cutting the joint of beef right after we see Lucy's head fly.
That was
like
so
a dissolve.
good. I love that
It's
scene.
awful. Oh my god. He's cutting this juicy bit of beef. And in that scene, Keanu is fucking awful. He's like, I know where the bastard lives.
Yeah.
And it's so bad.
I think the
Even
worst...
Winona Ryder has a terrible accent at times in this. She's better than he is.
She's better than he is, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think there was like a scene, I think the scene for me that was like, oh my god, he's terrible, was when I think they got married in the movie and they were in the carriage and she had, I think Jonathan spotted Vlad / Dracula on the street and he's like, he's there! And he's like flailing back and forth and he's like attempting to get out of the carriage and she's like, no, calm down. He looked like a wacky, inflatable, like thing, that you see outside of like car dealerships. I was like, what the fuck?
God.
Like
And at that point, he has grey hair as well, which makes it even weirder.
I don't understand what the fuck was going on with his grey hair.
Because the Brides of Dracula drained him.
Yeah, it was a very harrowing
Right.
experience being fucked by 3 gorgeous ladies every
wasn't
night.
even fucked. Wait, what?
It's implied that he was fucked as well.
They were draining his blood and his balls.
God.
I think it's implied that he was.
Yeah, Van Helsing does basically say that
In your,
that he was fucking them.
he said in your infidelity with
Yeah.
the whores of Satan or whatever it was.
Oh, he loved.
Did you happen to drink any of their blood? And he was like, no.
No, I
And
didn't.
Oh my
he was
God.
like, he was like, oh well, that's fine then. And Mina's sitting there like, yeah, you may have cheated on me a lot there, but at least you didn't, drink any blood.
No,
She's
she
very
did. She
happy
wasn't
about
even
that.
fake. Yeah, she was like, "Oh, that's so wonderful, dear." Like, I expected her to go, "What? What did you do?" No, nothing. She took that like a champ, and she was happy about it.
So the thing about the act that the studio wanted young, hip, cool, happening actors, as well as the established Sir Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman. So they were like, they wanted Johnny Depp.
Interesting.
But then they were like, no, we want someone younger and more attractive.
Johnny Depp as Jonathan or
Yeah. As Jonathan. So they got Keanu Reeves instead and Winona Ryder.
God,
And
he could have done either, couldn't he?
he could have done either. But I mean, that's
Wouldn't
why.
have been as good as Gary Oldman as Dracula.
I wonder if
Jesus.
that was before or after his role in what was that movie where he's like an old Willow? No,
Willow.
Sleeping-
That's,
He's in
no, that's
Willow.
Warwick Davis.
no, not Willow.
I get the two confused all the time, though.
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
you're thinking
Hollow.
of.
That's the one. Yeah,
That was 7 years later.
that was 7 years later. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I
So
don't-
you can tell, like, when they're acting together, it really, like, shows the difference between these people that are very good at acting. They've acted for a long time.
yes.
And they're not so good.
Mm-hmm. I thought
And I
Winona
find-
was good in it. I think
She's good, she's fine, but I find that I don't like her breathy, whispering, trembling ADR acting that she always does.
She does, doesn't she? Yeah. She
And
does, doesn't she?
And it is just she also
It must be so nice to see such countries.
Oh my god.
yeah it's like she kind of does the same thing a lot in all of her roles as well. Like, I can only think of Lydia Dietz, and even when she's doing this
Who the fuck is that?
from Beetlejuice.
Oh, Dietz is the surname.
Yeah, Lydia Dietz.
What the fuck?
Was she
I had
like
no
that?
idea.
Was she like that in that role too? She was very like...
She was very soft-spoken and whispery and whistly. She has that sort of... When she talks through her teeth quite a lot.
Right, I see.
Huh.
Yeah,
But
I liked her. I thought she was like good. I know that the acting was meant to be like, because it felt to me like a play, right? Especially the way it started off. It felt like very theatrical, very dramatized. Obviously, in plays, they have to be like, you have to, what the saying is, you have to act like for the people in like all the way in the back row. You know, you have to be so over the top, so bold, so dramatic. And that's what a lot of the acting felt like to me. So it felt like a movie and also a play at the same time.
Yeah, I got
With
that.
Anthony Hopkins just like going
he
full on.
was...
oh my lord.
I loved him. I love him
What
so
a
much.
man.
Like the scene where she obviously what's her name? The redhead.
Lucy.
Yeah.
Where she gets where she dies and he's just screaming, "A whore of darkness! She's a whore! She's Satan's concubine!"
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my god, dude, she just died. Like, chill.
He says, okay, here we go. Got her well, otherwise your precious Lucy will become a bitch of the devil. Yee-hee! He goes yee-hee.
Yep.
A whore of darkness. And he just like loses his shit. He's laughing and chuckling. He says yee-hee. He says yee-hee.
I know. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. I just wasn't expecting it. Like,
and the way he demands dinner before they go and like deal with her dead body.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Madness. Oh, and when he says to Jack, the doctor, he requests a set of post-mortem knives, and Jack says, "And an autopsy, Lucy?" There's Richard E. Grant as Jack.
Oh God!
And he says, "No, not exactly. I just want to cut off her head and take out her heart." He just says it so just like it's all a joke to him.
Because it kind of is.
I don't think he thinks it's a joke. I think he's just very eccentric and very like...
I think that the working on the fringes of science and dealing with like supernatural, unexplained things has driven him a little bit mad.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, he makes like an amazing joke when he's doing that that lecture when he's like civilization developed as well as civilization, and everyone
terrible.
I loved it.
Terrible joke.
I loved it.
Oh my god,
so much. It was amazing.
I did laugh at that. I was like,
yeah.
That's a good one.
I think he's like obviously a scientist and a doctor, but also like when he discovered that it was Dracula, you know, this is the thing that's the scourge on this situation. He was like, "Oh, I knew it! I knew it!"
He was delighted by it.
He was, you know. Then the gusts of winds picked up, and I think
he gets quite excited that this is actually happening, and he removes the humanity of Lucy because it's just, you know, it's like he is a man of science. This is something that's just happening. It's something for him to observe and try and cure.
Yeah.
I mean, he does try and save her life.
He does.
With the blood transfusion.
Yeah. It's not like he doesn't try. He's just very eccentric.
He's excited.
About it.
Yeah, he's excited.
I really like that scene when Lucy's in the bed and she's like moaning and groaning and fiddling with herself.
I hated
all horned up.
Fiddling with herself.
I hated
And-
that so much.
And Van Helsing, like he notices that she's got the vampire bite and starts, you know, the blood transfusions. And luckily, like her fiance walks in and he's going to be the blood donor just in time.
This is where her being a quite a promiscuous lady comes in very handy when she needs the blood of 3 men inside
Oh
her.
my god.
3 simps. Like,
She needs 3 men inside of her stats.
Jesus. I just love when they were like, I think when Van Helsing was trying to explain to Jack that he was like, oh, what? The sheets would have been covered in blood, right? They would have been covered in blood. So what? Somebody sucked her blood and just ran away with it? And then Anthony Hopkins is like, yeah, why not? And then it was just like completely serious.
Jack's like, he's scoffing at it, saying something just went up there, sucked it out of her, flew away, I suppose.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? I was like, yep. I love the candor. It's fabulous.
It is brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the scene when Van Helsing says, you know, science can't explain everything, and then he vanishes, and then he reappears behind like a fucking tombstone or something.
Yeah,
Nothing
what
could
the
explain that. Fucking hell, what's going on?
Like, what the fuck
It's
was
like a
that?
weird magic trick to make a point, saying, look, you can't explain this. Your science can't explain this.
I half
How
expected
did I do that?
the 3 blokes to just go, yay, did it again.
Woo! Do it again, Sir Anthony. I mean, Van Helsing.
The sad thing is that there's a fucking a water tank with a dead Anthony Hopkins under the graveyard.
Oh no!
Little prestige reference there.
Oh, very well done.
I did like when Van Helsing meets Mina for the first time. He starts dancing with her like a fucking drunk uncle.
What the fuck is going on? He just like grabs her and starts dancing.
I'd be so pissed off.
I think he wanted to like check out if he could sense like the beast,
Yes.
the vampire on her, and he kind of does. Like,
That's
he
why I
sniffs
says
it.
she's
Well,
the
it's
light of lights.
He's trying to get her like scent in the air wafting around so he can sense if the beast is inside her.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
I think so. Like just to
Just
sort of
yeah.
figure it, see if he can tell anything from her.
I thought he was just being a fucking weirdo because he was
He could
like,
have just been very drunk. Yeah.
yeah,
He
or
was
very-
a weirdo. Yeah.
I mean, he is very weird, and he's also like, look at me, look up at me now. Before he even like, you know, walked up to her and like had a conversation. Which
a good segue from the beast inside her is what did you make of the weird hairy werewolf Dracula?
I was so
Holy fuck.
confused at that because I was like, what is that? Like, who is that? Actually, yeah, who is that?
Yeah.
Who
I
the fuck was
got
that.
I've always been. It is Dracula, I think. Because he can shapeshift and stuff, but that's how he
We
bites
do
her.
literally see Gary Oldman's face superimposed over the face of the werewolf thing.
Yeah,
Do
but
we?
it's easy to. I mean, I was taking notes as well, so I could
Yeah.
miss things. But yeah, that's how he bites her. He gets to Lucy so that he can get closer to Mina, I assume.
Is that
Oh,
why
I love
he did that?
I love the bit when he summons the storm. His eyes appear in the sky. It starts raining, and then he makes Lucy and Mina les off with each other. Can I say that in 2023?
You can,
You
sure.
can, yeah.
Like, what was
Wait,
what was that all about?
did he actually?
You're Dracula. You can do whatever you fucking want.
What a fucking pervert!
He is a
I know.
Isn't
pervert.
that weird?
I was really
Um,
why he was like so intent on Lucy, but I think he wanted her blood to like be healthy. I don't. Like,
Yeah.
Why did? But she also turned into a vampire, and she was also being weird. And I was like, what is the whole point of this subplot? Why did he go after this lady?
So I mean, I think it was as a means to get to keep Mina there rather than going to Romania to find what's his face, Jonathan.
Jonathan. Oh,
So she was with
yeah.
Lucy, looking after Lucy. She was like, I won't go to him. I'm going to stay here with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just as a way to sort of like get closer to her by getting to a friend, I think. You know, like blokes do.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the bit when he's ravaging Lucy and Mina sees him, and then there's like a flash, and it's like his POV, and he can see like all like the
it's
blood
so
veins
cool,
in her
isn't it?
body all lit up red. And
Yeah.
you can hear her heart beating.
There was some really cool effects, like
all done in camera as well.
Yeah.
Except for one bit.
There was
The blue fire was done afterwards, but the rest of it was just
oh
done
my god, that blue
on the
fire
spot.
in the entrance, you mean? Like that
Yeah.
barrier that I guess kept
And
out.
so someone left the gas burner on,
Yeah.
the gas hob.
It looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it was bad because as the carriage was like pulling away from it, it was like at a weird angle as well. So it wasn't even like covering the whole entrance, and it just looks so funny. But I didn't care. I was impressed with like the shots, the transitions, the effects. I thought
What's your favorite effect?
Ooh, I did write down that I really loved when he, when he it's near the end and Mina is in Jack's room asleep and he's like going like that, and then they find him and he turns into a bat, right? But then he turns into a big man-shaped pile of rats.
Yeah,
was so
he's in a
funny.
horrible human, half bat, giant form. Previously, he was a green mist, so this is an upgrade. It feels.
green fart.
And then he walks backwards into darkness, and they call for like lights, and they shine a light at him, and yeah, it's just a fucking massive rats in the shape.
You could
that
see
he
the
was
eyes
in.
still, which is what
Yeah.
made it like freaky as
So
well.
good.
Very creepy.
Yeah,
I really want to know how they did that sort of thing.
yeah.
They had to train those rats.
Yeah.
Took years. They had to train one to run upside down on a beam as well.
One of
I don't know how they did that.
One of my
Crazy.
favorite, like, I think lighting techniques. It's like subtle, but it creates a lot of like, I don't know, tension. And I'm probably gonna butcher the word because it's not that easy to pronounce, but it's called chiaroscuro
Chiaroscuro.
lighting.
I knew that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, it's they used it in like Renaissance art, so it like highlights a certain area, right? And then it like
The bright parts are very bright
Yeah.
and well lit, and the dark parts are very dark.
yeah, or like very shaded. You know what I mean? To still sort of let you see it, but not like too much. I think they did that when Lucy was on the bed and she was like, I guess, sort of fading more and more into darkness, more and more slipping away into death. I really liked that shot. That was really good.
They did. I think they really did a lot of good stuff right at the beginning because they did that a lot with Jonathan, especially in the castle and stuff. But they packed a lot of effects into that first half, really, as well, which I thought were really
I love
good.
the bit when he's on the train, and then you can see it. There's a model train.
Oh, I
and the
knew
book
it!
in the foreground.
Yes.
And that's an actual giant book prop that they made.
So that they could get the
place
shadow.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird that they went to such lengths, but it kind of works. It kind of works.
It definitely works. Because they did like double exposures on things, like filming one bit, tape goes back and then film another bit. Lots of like mirrors, rear projection, like when he was on the train and there was the eyes, and then
Yes.
projecting onto. He had the map on his face, and I think that's probably how they did Mina's veins. It's just very.
There's also that scene when they're drinking absinthe, Dracula and Mina, and she somehow she either remembers Transylvania from like her past life as being his wife, or Dracula's like putting it into her mind, and I'm not sure which way it is. But she's like talking about like the rolling hills and the grand mountains of Transylvania, and projected behind her is like these landscapes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really nice.
Yeah. She's like, I guess as she's describing it, it's like
So
behind her.
I think that she's remembering it because he starts crying and she's like, oh, your voice is just so familiar.
Yeah, but he's been talking to her for like weeks at this point.
Yeah.
I guess she's
Like,
getting
from afar.
more and more used to being around him, her memories being triggered or something. Something is obviously happening.
So do you think this is a case of dead again?
That's what I was wondering.
Anthony Hopkins was a priest in a previous life, and now he's Van Helsing. Because that priest at the start was Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
I didn't recognize him like that.
Yeah, no, I noticed. I was like, oh, there he is. So we have.
I think it could be that.
And Mina was also, was it Elisabetta, the wife of Vlad?
Falling from that distance, from that tower, wouldn't she?
Even into a body of water, it would still, it wouldn't be good.
It wouldn't be good, but she was just like, oh, I've got a little bloody nose, and she's just dramatically sprawled out
You
on
would
the
be
steps.
pulverized.
Yeah.
You know? Because hitting water is like hitting concrete at that height.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure like every bone would have been broken.
Yeah.
And she would just be like
Jello.
very floppy.
I thought it was very Gossip Girl of the enemies to shoot an arrow into the tower and be like, yo, your beloved is dead, homegirl. And she's just like, oh, I've got nothing to live for. Like, they couldn't beat them.
Such a cruel trick.
It is a cruel trick. But
those bloody Turks.
How did they know, though, that, like, they were obviously madly in love and he has, like, a wife and... You know,
of course they knew he had a wife.
I think it's one of those cases. Have you seen those people on social media where they are so into each other? Everything is about the other person, and all the pictures are about the other person. And like, it's like, oh, he's done this for me today, or she's done that. They can't do anything. It's just like projected. They have no more personality of their own. They are just one with that other person. That's probably it.
That's why they went
just
to
goes on
war
about
with
it
them.
so much.
Yeah.
But how did they do this before social media, though?
Arrows.
Was he?
Duh.
He was firing arrows at the Turks, saying, "I'm very much in love with my wife.
He's firing arrows,
please
saying,
do not fire an arrow at my wife."
No way.
She good fuck. She good lady.
They probably just had loads of, ceremonies, feasts, tourneys, and they're all like, flaunting about and showing off their love to everyone. And they're like, oh, I don't care. That's why they went to war with them. That's why they're like, we've had enough. We're sick of it.
Not enough of you bragging about this bullshit.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things was when she had the Arabian Nights book.
Oh my god, I love that so much.
That was my favorite.
I found an excerpt from Richard Burton, not the actor, the translator and explorer. I have an excerpt from his Arabian Nights, and you are going to love it.
Go on.
You're going to love it. So there's a young lady and a gentleman, and the young lady says, "Oh my lord, oh my love, what callest thou this article?" And she points at her slit.
Oh.
"I call that thy cleft." And she says, "Wow, art thou not ashamed to use such a word?" And then she grabs him by the collar and cuffs him. So then he says, "Thy womb, thy vulva," and she struck him again. And she says, oh fie, this is another ugly word. Is here no shame in thee?" And then he replies, "Thy coint."
Coint. That is beautiful.
Like coint. Spelled COYNTE. Maybe at the time it was pronounced cunt.
I think maybe.
That is beautiful. That is actually
and
beautiful.
She responds by just beating the shit out of him. It's a weird.
Power to you, sister. Oh my god.
Do not use that word to a lady.
To a lady.
But she's asking him to say, these words, and then she's punishing him for saying them.
That's
very
that's
weird.
their thing, though.
I think it was their thing. Yeah.
I just found the pictures when she was looking at them when it opened up. They were so funny. And I
It just opens immediately to a page
with
there's fucking
Well, I think was she looking at it before?
She was.
Browsing through it.
Yeah,
and then she was like, "Ugh, disgusting." Ugh. Was she going through it, just going, like people like, "Oh, that is gross," and then they turn the next page. This is all. Who would read this?
Yeah,
Ew.
they just keep
and
going.
keep reading it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She's such a fucking prude, man.
She's a prude.
Not like Lucy.
Oh,
Who's a whore.
I just put in caps.
Lucy.
Ye old porn.
Oh my god. The old porn cast. Coming soon.
That's going to be a spin-off, a good spin-off. There.
Oh, jeez.
You can host it on X Videos, Twitter's video hosting platform.
Yeah, X videos. I like when she said, practically a hag at 20, by the way.
Yes.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
How did that make you feel, G?
I felt old as bones. I felt so old.
So Lucy and Mina, they go through the book, looking at all the sexy pictures. And then Lucy asks Mina if Jonathan Harker has got a big cock. Right? She basically asks him that.
Yeah, how does he measure? Does he measure up or something like that?
And Mina's like, "Oh, we only kissed. Oh, woo, woo, woo."
Yeah.
And then, like, right after that, there's the scene in which we meet, like, the three bros.
Yeah,
right?
the three
alleged
Have a little party.
chads.
Yeah. It was
And Lucy flirts with all of them.
so
And there's
awful, though.
there's the great bit where her back is to Mina, so she can't see it. And the Texan guy's there, and she's like, "Oh, let me touch it. Oh, it's so big." But she's holding his knife.
His hunting knife or
And
whatever. I was like,
"Oh my god, you hussy."
yeah.
She's like, nobody wants to marry me, and it's like, well, because you're fucking flirting with literally everybody.
Not even
Like,
just
chill.
flirting. I literally wrote in my notes, she's the town's outhouse. Like, I think she's been...
Outhouse.
Yeah, she's been around...
I think Australians have a different way of phrasing it than we do, Simon. We use the village bike.
Oh, no, we
Yeah.
say the village bike too, but, like, I think she's worse than that. I think she's like
So
a
are you
piss
saying
pot.
that everybody's having a shit on her?
Everybody's...
She's a toilet.
Yeah, she's a toilet. Everyone's
Oh
having
my
to
God,
go.
I did actually write in my notes, Lucy is all over them like a horny fly around three handsome chicks.
Yes. I mean, if it works, it works, you know? I don't know. I think
Beautiful.
they were all friends, but they were all simping for her as well.
Yeah, 100%.
but
They were tier 3 subs.
They were tier 3 subs. I found it really bizarre when one of them was calling her a little girl, though. I don't know if you guys
that was
like...
Quincy.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
I think that's just a Texan thing, you know?
Yeah, sure. It gave me the heebie-jeebies. Just saying.
Yeah. There's the fantastic line that Quincy says later when they're like arriving on horseback, and what does he says? She's hotter than a what the fuck was the line?
Something about
God,
a
I'm gonna have to
day
find
in some sort of Texan stereotype of a hot day in some summer or something. One of my favorite lines in the movie was when Mina said that Lucy was a pure and virtuous girl. I was like,
I think that's implying that like she hasn't had sex. She's lying about it. She hasn't done it, but she's very loose with her words. She talks a big game, but she's actually a virgin.
Gotcha.
I think.
Gotcha.
Did you like Dracula's bum cheek hair? And he had hair all over his hands.
He did.
This was when Jonathan met him the first time. He looked at the palms of his hands. They were all hairy. And he was like, "Yeah, well, he's been alone a long time, hasn't he?"
Yeah. Well, I think because bats have.
I didn't even notice that. What
Beautiful.
the fuck?
Yeah, no, he had
Hairy hands.
He had a lot
Look
of
at
hair.
him there with his hairy hands.
He had a lot of hair on those hands. Like when he first comes in, obviously he's older, right? So like when Jonathan first meets him, he was giving like gay vamp. Honestly, I was like, lovely hair. Oh, that cape, honey, slay. He's giving county realness. Like, he had this long red cape. He had that, like, updo. He literally looked like a fabulous Dracula drag queen.
He did. He really did.
He really did.
And also,
That was the fashion of the time.
and also
You gotta understand.
he got very intimate with Jonathan because he was shaving him. Shaving
Oh,
another
yeah.
man is very sensual.
Yes.
It's like, don't cut yourself. It could be very.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
What was the right button?
The mute button to cough. I needed to cough. I needed to clear my throat, and I pressed the swear button.
I thought like a Morse code was coming in.
He's sending a telegram.
That
Oh
was
my God.
brilliant.
Shaving another man is a very sensual affair, such as also is. And then also sometimes men.
Oh my God.
I love you so
Brilliant.
much.
Anyway, something that made me laugh as well. He was like, "Count, are you married?" Like asking this fucking decrepit 90. He looks 90. Imagine that
Yeah,
Jonathan's seen him for the first time, and he's like, "This man old. Are you married?" And then he's surprised that he says, "Well, she's dead." It's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Like asking. He's so ancient. Why would you ask that in the first place? You haven't seen her
But
around.
He's got his 3 brides anyway. I mean, they're not
does.
wives. They're more like concubines than anything
Yeah.
else. But
Man's living the fucking dream, though.
I
love the bit where he feeds them a baby.
It's what every girl wants, isn't it?
what a
keeps him
girl
happy.
wants. What a girl.
The orgy scene was so
Oh,
fucking
God.
good.
Oh,
Like they come out of the bed and it's all like this reverse, like film.
We get to see Monica Bellucci's honkers.
Yeah, we get to see some honkers.
wait, that Monica
The mirror-
Bellucci?
Yeah,
Yep, she was one of the brides.
Wow, wait,
There's,
what?
the mirror.
She was the one that doesn't give him a blowjob, but maybe bites him on the cock. I'm not quite sure what happened.
I think she bites him on the
I
the
think
dick.
she does,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they like bleed his nipple too. I was like, oh, God.
And when I want to know how they did when she's approaching, there's smoke all over the floor, right? And there's footsteps in it.
Oh, yeah.
How the fuck? How?
Yeah, I
wanna
remember
know.
that.
I want to know these things.
There was a lot of cool effects. Like, there's
There
just.
was.
I was like curious why. I thought they were doing like maybe doing a callback to the Arabian Nights thing because they were all dressed very Middle East. I don't know what. Yeah,
I guess it was Romanian
yeah.
maybe
because they all have these
Romanian,
big,
yeah.
tall, beautiful hats that are like boxes.
Yeah,
Even the
They do.
They do. They have these box hats that they're like. I suppose they're called like. I guess they're gypsies that are like Dracula's.
And it's okay to call them gypsies because they are ethnically gypsies from Romania.
yeah. Please don't like everyone. Like you can't say that word. In
I'm
certain
pretty
parts
sure
of
that
the world, it's
that's-
They're Romanese.
yeah.
So it's fine.
But also like so they're wearing these lovely cool hats and stuff. But I did really like when Jonathan arrives in Transylvania and he says we're early in that, and then they fuck off. That like the first lot fuck off, and then the creepy carriage man comes and he's got these big long hands.
Oh, I love
And he
that
lifts him
scene.
up, and it's so fucking stupid.
It is
I
so
was like,
funny. He like reaches his hand out and he's just like "Get fucking courage, like pushing him
fucking
in.
courage, you fucking bitch.
Well, there were fucking wolves all around, so he had to, get in that carriage and be eaten off by a wolf.
Oh, Dracky loves his wolves.
I love them wolves.
They were beautiful babies. I love how they kept calling him Dracul.
Oh, yes,
I
he's
was
Dracul.
like, what? Why Dracul? I mean, I'm not complaining, but why Dracul? Is this one of his cute little nicknames, maybe? Or
Yes, fucking.
Because he's part of the
Dracul.
Order of the Dragon, and Dracul means dragon.
oh, there you
He's
go.
learning so much.
I called him Count Dracula at one point because he when he was like buried in his little coffin, he was dripped out. He was like dressed like a really fancy pope at one point.
Like at the very end, he does look a bit like the Pope.
Yeah,
Do you
no,
like the costumes? They were designed
Loved
by
the costumes.
someone that was Japanese, I think.
Oh,
They
They were-
Won an Oscar for it. Well,
I mean, the costumes were amazing.
Lucy's fucking wedding dress.
Yes.
Bring back the ruff. I mean, I do own several ruffs. God. Okay.
She loves a bit of ruff.
I do love my ruffs, but I don't have one quite as big as Lucy's mega ruff. And that cool hat.
Fucking lampshade.
Aiko Ishioka
yes.
was the costume designer. Yes.
Winona had a lot of really nice dresses. I
love the bustles. I love the someone at my door. Be right back.
I love the Russells. The man at the door. Come back for
I love the red armor.
Let's come back for the controller. I think you found that controller, love.
Oh my god. The remote. It's called a remote G-Star Games.
I call it a control, right?
Is that an Australian thing?
Might be Australian.
Oh, where's our bloody controller?
Bloody
TV over. Golly, come here.
Oh, I think one of my favorite lines in the movie was when I think one of the men, I don't know which one of the men, but he said, "Watch your colonial tongue." Oh
my god.
I was like, what? What the fuck? That's amazing. There's just so much that happens in this movie. So much.
My favorite line is, "My master tells me about you." What did he tell you? That he is coming. That he is coming for you.
Yes.
That's my favorite
I
line.
knew you would like that. I was like, I'm sure Simon is putting cum in caps in his notes right now.
LaMail lol.
LaMail lol cum. Hilarious. Comedic gold right here.
Oh, and 41 minutes, 48 seconds. We get to see Lucy's feet as she runs out in the rain and the dark or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because Dracula's... That's the foot bit. We got the foot bit for you, G.
Are we just going to do a foot, you know, like point out the feet every movie? See if we can point out their feet.
To.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing that for 14 episodes. So we're not going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, it's taken me like 14 episodes to like get on board with it.
Yeah.
But sure.
And now you're up for it.
Yeah.
You love feet. You admit it.
Yeah. Well, I'm down. Let's anytime we're watching the movie, there's bare feet, do a bare feet counter.
Of course, I come back to the bare feet counter. Yep. Was there bare feet? I'm trying to remember the bare feet in this.
Yeah.
Lucy's bare feet when she runs outside.
Oh, yeah.
Before the monster gets her.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes they're like, I don't know, because like I was really struggling to like pinpoint pronunciations and accents and stuff. So like, it sounded like Hungarian, Romanian. Yeah, but like it didn't sound. I mean, obviously, it wasn't going to sound accurate, but it was just so all over the place sometimes. Like, I didn't even know what Keanu and Winona's accents were supposed to be, really.
Well, they're from London, so I imagine it's an English accent they're trying to do.
Right.
Oh, blimey, Governor.
Yeah. Oh, blimey.
I think I have seen the Dracula. The bastard. I want to talk about Renfield for a minute. Tom Waits.
Yes.
And why the fuck did the guards have the cages on their heads and not the people who are very bitey and weird?
I don't understand that at all.
So I when I played Bloodborne, there's like a part in the game.
Oh my god!
No, I swear it's relevant. When
it's not real, G. Bloodborne isn't real.
No, but there is a scene. Well, there's a part in the game. The guy that you're trying to kill, his name is Mikolash, and he has a very long and tall cage on his head. And you're in some sort of asylum, and it's set around like that a similar time, I think 1800s or what have you.
Is he the guy that read all the books and went mad?
I'm not sure, but I think there were a lot of people in the asylum who had cages on their heads, because that's what that instantly reminded me of. I guess they were trying to... Yeah, I don't know.
It was just fashionable.
It was just fashionable at the time.
It's part of the uniform.
But yeah, it was the fashion of the time.
Put an onion on my belt. It was the fashion at the time. But I think they were trying to avoid getting attacked or their eyes scratched out by the inmates.
That might be it.
But yeah, it would make more sense.
That would ruin your day, wouldn't it?
It would ruin
Put it
your
on
day.
the inmates. Put it on them. But also, he has the same. Renfield has the same haircut that loads of lads today have. Have you noticed that? It's a fashionable haircut now. But also, he keeps that haircut really like. I don't know how long this whole thing goes on for. It's months and months and months since we see Renfield at the beginning, and then they get married. And Winona Ryder, as soon as she like the end of the movie, which. Months, maybe even years have elapsed. They're still cutting this guy's hair for him.
They are, yeah.
They're still like, you know what? You're a nutter and you're eating loads of flies, but we will keep you looking nice and smart.
So why...
Would you care for an hors d'oeuvre, Dr. Seward? Or a can of pie? His plate of bugs.
I just didn't understand the whole mental asylum. And like, I know Renfield... That's his name.
Yeah.
That's a prominent character, I think, in Dracula lore.
Yeah.
I think.
This is it. This film is pretty much, it's a pretty accurate representation of the novel. So as much of Renfield is in this movie as he is in the book, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But I think, I don't know. I think Renfield was kind of like abandoned by Dracula, maybe. Like Dracula wasn't.
Yeah, he wanted
that
him
into him.
He wanted him to turn him into a vampire. He wanted him to give him eternal life.
He was doing all of his bidding over in London, and then
he's a thrall.
He was a thrall. And that's why Jonathan took over the legal work.
Yeah,
to buy the properties.
They were part
because
of
that was
the
Renfield's
same...
job.
Yeah, agency.
And they were part of the same. Yeah,
oh.
And then he's like, he promised me eternal life, not you bitch. And
what about when Renfield asks for like a little pussycat?
I loved that. I said I have the same reaction to being offered a cat when he goes, a big cat.
But I'm not sure whether he wants to, because first of all he says he wants to feed the cat the like flies,
and
but then
it
almost sounds like he wants to feed off of the cat.
Eat the cat.
Yeah.
He loved eating his insects though, didn't he? His worms and his flies and his spiders and he was like, oh, it's disgusting. It's like, oh, actually, you find that they're quite nutritious.
Honestly, the guy was living in the fucking 23rd century, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was ahead of his
nowadays,
time. It's like good protein and stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right, you do you, I guess. But yeah, a lot of wailing, a lot of screaming, a lot of, it was quite nice to Mina when he met her.
Yeah, I think he had a little moment of sanity there because
he did. A little moment of clarity. Aside from the real old Renfield came out.
Yeah, aside from screaming "come" in her face,
he did. Multiple times. Yeah. He's coming for you. And Renfield gets murdered by Dracula. He turns into a green mist and throws him against the bars of his cell over and over again.
Oh, that was funny.
For his trouble.
That was
nice.
So funny. Also, I loved when going back to the shaving scene near the beginning, when he was like shaving Jonathan's neck. He like licked the blade, but I think he also cut his tongue at the same time. Well, that's what it looked like to me, and it looked horrific.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he cut his tongue.
It looked like
kind of looked like it.
It did look like
it was just the blood left behind from the razor, I think.
Yeah,
it looked like.
But then he like makes he coombs a little.
Oh, he definitely coombs.
Like,
yeah.
And then he like goes outside and is fucking crawling on the roof like a gremlin.
Keanu Reeves' reaction to all of this happening, to having a sword flung in his face, to having this man shaving him, to a man touching him on the shoulder and him not being there, and then seeing him climbing sideways down a castle wall. He's literally just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, he knows that he's going to be a prisoner because he's been told that he has to write these letters and he's staying there for a month.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
so he knows that he's in deep shit. So he's kind of just going along with it because he doesn't have an alternative, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
would you not freak it? Well, no, but you know, it's like right at the beginning, he's having his dinner with him, and Dracula's swinging his sword at him, and he's literally he doesn't pull a single facial expression.
Well, that's because Keanu Reeves acting. Keanu Reeves acting.
Yeah. It's it's just him, isn't it? He's just very like he's trying to be a gentleman.
He should have gone, whoa.
Whoa, man.
Like, whoa.
He's trying to
Whoa,
stay
dude.
calm.
Put the sword away.
He's trying to stay calm, collected. He's trying to be a gentleman. He's trying to be professional. You know, he just maybe is assuming this guy is like very eccentric, and you know, it's just doing. It was a big assignment as well. You know, whatever this assignment was, they said it was huge and it was a big promotion, a big step. So I think he was just trying to go with it. But also, I think his acting was also not very good either. So
I mean, Harker's definitely out of his depth.
Yeah.
Going to Romania, he's no idea what this place is really like. Doesn't really know what the customs are. Doesn't speak the language.
Well, he clearly doesn't know the customs, because even Dracula makes a point of saying, you know, when he notices the cross, and he goes, "Oh, your customs won't do here," you know. And then
yeah, but he was given that by a Romanian woman. Like,
yeah, that's true.
As soon as he arrived,
that is true. Yeah. But then those 3 harlots like melt it somehow on his skin.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
What's the fucking use in this?
Yeah, it was just very bizarre. Why did he or did he not? Because I could be wrong on this. When Elisabetta, whatever her name is, died in the beginning, why didn't he, like, I don't know, drain her and like keep her blood?
He loved her.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would he do that?
Because he's a vampire?
This is before he was a vampire.
Didn't he renounced God after she was dead.
Yeah. He's denouncing God. Basically, God turns him into a vampire.
Yeah. But then she's still dead. And
this isn't in the book. That's it.
Oh. I would have thought he'd like drain her and have like, you know, for special occasions, let the blood cure in a chest or something. You know, like those little.
Oh God!
What?
Like a nice vintage.
Yeah.
Just drinks some of his dead wife's blood. I think it would go off. I don't think it ages like wine.
I don't think vampires really have. You know, I don't think he's
vampires
fast.
Drain life essence by consuming blood.
He ain't got any life.
Right.
Where's the essence?
And the blood's no good. If old blood no good.
I see. So it's got to be fresh.
Got to be fresh blood.
Straight from the tap.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, yeah, Lucy. I was just looking at my notes. Lucy fucked a werewolf? I know we mentioned this, but like we didn't really bat an eye when we talked about it. But she was
pretty standard.
Yeah, I guess.
I love the bit when he visits her later and just ravages her, and then there's like 2 tidal waves of blood go over the bed.
Yeah,
from either side.
that was very
cool.
That was so cool. But there was also a part where he's like, so I wrote in my notes, why is Gary Oldman now Gary Youngman? And he's
love it.
Well, it was the part where he's like young and he's got like this fabulous drip, you know, those amazing glasses.
God, he's never looked so fucking good, right?
Yeah, he looked fucking fabulous, and he's got the hat and the 3-piece suit. Like, where did he get all that riz from? Why is he so young?
I mean, there's 2 questions here. Why is he so young, and where did he get the riz? He got the riz from crying or getting other people's tears, turning them into diamonds and selling the diamonds to De Beers. So that's how he got his money in London. And secondly, how did he get young and hot? By killing people in London and then just getting younger magically.
Eating babies. Yeah, I don't really know. I think it's probably something to do with that.
Yeah, because sometimes
having more people in London to eat.
Yeah, more selection. Because he was like young, and then you'd see him as old and decrepit, and then he's like, a bat. He's in his like bat form. It was just very confusing at times.
I think he can just change like to fit whatever he needs to be doing.
Right.
That's part of. I mean, I think Anthony Hopkins, Van Helsing mentions like, he can become anything, a mist or a
become
bat.
any of the. Was it the meaner aspects of life, such as rats, bats, and wolves?
Yeah.
I thought that's a bit harsh.
I thought you
You
were.
can
I
also
thought
turn
you,
into a mist, a vapor, a fog, or vanish into nothing.
I thought you were saying
I'm like-
Mina, as in
Mina.
Willem,
Yeah.
as in Mina, the character. I was like, damn, that's rough. That's rough.
But he's
man.
never looked so good as when he's like he's commanding a wolf in the cinema. There was a wolf in the cinema, G. Do
Oh.
you remember this?
Oh, the nudie flick.
The cinematograph.
The
Yes.
nudie flick.
The brand new
Gotcha.
invention of London town.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it was a Frenchman, but whatever, same thing.
Right.
So he arrives in London and he's like, see me.
Yeah.
See me after class.
See me.
And then because he knows it's blah blah blah, and he's like, where is the cinema place?
I'm
Where's the
sorry,
cinema?
I'm Romania prince, new to London.
As soon
I'm
as
looking
she-
for the cinematograph.
As soon as she hears that he is a prince, she is like, holy shit, I'm gonna be nice to this man, because before she's like,
Shameless.
I'm married, and that
Fucking women. Hey,
women
what are they
women
like?
know that
Shaking my
even if
damn
you
head.
tell somebody that you're married to get them away from you,
Well, he
and
was
wearing
immediate.
rings.
Yeah, he was.
It doesn't work. It never works.
No.
You can say I'm married, and they will still fucking follow you around London.
Yeah, no,
because
for sure. But in this
It just
this
happened.
instance, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, milady."
But then he carries on anyway.
Well,
I'm
no, because
just a
she,
prince.
no, he turns around and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, milady," and then she's like, "Oh, I've been rude. I'm sorry," and then he comes back and. It was only after she said, "I am sorry, I'm being rude," that he was like, he came back for more.
Yeah.
So
but then
she's
they
to
go to
blame.
the cinema, and she's like, "This is fucking bullshit, mate. It's just a lady sitting on a man's knee and him getting mad about it." And then
It's crazy because like it's so cool. There's this brand new invention called the cinematograph, where multiple images are rapidly projected onto screen in sequence, which gives the illusion of a smulcrum of real-life events taking place right before the viewer. And she's like, "This isn't science."
Yeah,
I'm like,
I
"Come
didn't
on,
yes,
really-
it fucking
woman."
is.
I didn't really understand her reaction there. I was like, "How are you not impressed by this? This is pretty."
Because she's a bitch.
She prefers reading her books, with the erotic pictures in.
Yeah, and she likes typing on typewriters because that's not science or technology in any way.
No, that's the simpler times. Not hand and quill and paper typewriter.
I wrote down because he said, "Do not." He was going to bite her in the cinema.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he says, "Do not fear me." And I always feel very comforted when a man I've just met says that,
Do not fear me.
because it's like
Do not fear me.
an ex told me when I met him, "Oh, don't worry, I won't roll you up in a carpet and throw you off a bridge." I was like, right,
What?
okay.
Oh, that's
The fuck?
that's like the biggest red flag I've ever heard.
Jesus Christ.
I hate.
Well, she's still here to tell the tale.
I'm still here to tell the tale because,
Yeah, but-
obviously he didn't. He's telling the truth in that instance, but
Yeah, but it's like such a weird thing.
that's not something that you're supposed to say to girls. You're not supposed to say, "Don't worry, I'm not going to sexually assault you."
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing.
I'm pretty sure
It's just-
some guys have said something like that to me in some degree.
Oh, no
and
doubt.
no doubt. And it's just like
doubt.
that's not comforting. That's pretty alarming, if anything.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
My God.
But he doesn't bite her in that instance.
no, he holds himself back.
He
yeah.
holds off. He holds off. He's like, "I'm going to try and date her instead of just taking the easy way out here."
Mm,
But then the wolves turn up,
the wolves.
don't they?
There's a single wolf that escaped from London Zoo during the storm.
I thought they
Um,
were talking about the werewolf at first. I was like, wow,
yeah,
you
I did too. I thought there was a bit of a confused because I didn't put the pieces together at first,
Mm.
and I thought they were talking about the werewolf that had raped somebody. And then I was like, is that actually something to do with Dracula? Did he is it one of the guys that he brought with him from Romania? Did he bring his mate?
Yeah.
Because he brought his mates with him in boxes of dirt.
Yeah.
It's like me ordering loads of compost online.
Yeah, why did he? I thought it was like, I guess, scorched earth, but also the dirt from Romania.
It's something about, oh God, I know what it is. It's something to do with vampires having to have like dirt from.
They have to sleep in a coffin and the bottom of it has soil from their homeland.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Dracula has his band of gypsies digging up soil from the bowels of his castle, they say.
Yes.
And it's put into, it's like 20 fucking crates of this dirt that he brings over on the Demeter.
You could really just
boat.
have a little bit of dirt. You don't need that much dirt.
Well, that's the thing. Like, is he planning to turn loads of people into vampires so they have
think
lots
so.
of dirt?
But then that wouldn't be from their homeland. Unless it has to be from Romania.
Well, maybe
That's
it's magical dirt.
I do
And
like
we
he
just-
he sits submerged in it quite a lot in the film, just hanging out.
He loves it. He does.
But there's
very
a bit
cozy.
when he's in the fucking boat, right? And it cuts to a shot of either him or one of his mates in the dirt in the crate. They're also in like a big slimy condom.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's just writhing around and stuff. And I wrote down something like, I would not like to sail in that, let alone within a giant slimy condom. But it was nice enough
I
to
think
bring
that
his
might be
mates.
him transforming, because I think he goes from old Dracula into like vampire Batman Dracula in the crate, and I think it's almost like a cocoon or something.
Yeah.
And then he becomes the young hot prince.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So does he
From
have
Romania.
to go in a condom every time he changes into something else?
Or maybe
I'm not sure. Maybe it
Maybe it was.
just needs to be waterproof because they're on the boat.
I was gonna say maybe he doesn't like water and rain. Maybe that would fuck him up. So he has to flip.
Then why
into
do vampires have the fucking power to make it rain or have, summon a blizzard? Which they apparently have.
They
Mina
have
gets
so
that
much
power.
fucking power, man.
Mina turns, and then like the next day, she's able to summon a fucking blizzard.
This could have been over
I mean,
so
not
much
quite the next
quicker.
day, but-
The whole thing. They have
Yeah.
this much power.
It's just the whole, even the part where I think Jonathan finally escapes and he like gets to the convent with like the sisters and stuff, and then they write him a letter, and he was like, "Oh yes, you must join me immediately to get married." It's like, what?
I thought that was a ruse.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's really weird. Why didn't he return to London?
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
was like,
What's
why
he
would
doing?
she trek all the way to Romania to marry?
then they have
It's
to go-
romantic.
Back again later.
Yeah, but like, what is
Do
marrying?
you think it was
gonna-
because he was too unwell with his inverted commas brain fever? Do you think he
He
just
was
couldn't
weak.
travel? He's very weak. He was grey of hair, and
He was drained.
he progressively gets greyer and greyer, and then at some point nearer the end, he's not grey. He stops being grey.
Yeah.
because Dracula's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
I was
that's
like,
also
fuck, right.
when Mina there's a scene where they're close to Vampire's castle. Van Helsing and Mina are camping for the night. Mina's turning
Ugh.
into a vampire,
Ugh.
and Van Helsing gets a communion wafer and presses it against her
hot
forehead.
biscuit. He puts a big hot biscuit on her face.
I laughed.
It burns her
so
and leaves a mark.
hard.
My biscuit.
But then that mark disappears when Dracula dies. Spoiler:
Yeah.
Dracula dies.
Oh my god! Big spoiler there.
Oh no!
I love it when she tries to seduce him. When Mina tries to seduce,
Get her tits
Van
out, and he starts
Helsing.
Flailing all over the
motivating.
place.
She tries to seduce him for I think about 30 seconds at the most, and then she's like, you killed my best friend Lucy. You cut her head off, you bastard.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I just
And
love
he's
that.
like, hang on a minute, bitch. I didn't do it. I didn't kill her. She was already dead.
True.
and then he somehow forms a circle of fire with a stick and some
In the
some fire.
ice.
And I don't even know
in the
I
ice,
don't even
by
know
the
how
way.
he manages that.
Yeah.
Because there's the brides of Dracula there, and because the brides can't reach him, they kill the horses.
Yeah, I
monster horses.
thought that was so fucked up. I'm gonna leave those poor horses alone.
And then that scene ends, and then the next scene is him finding their bodies as they're sleeping during the daytime, and he just whacks their heads off, carries them to like a bridge, and throws them into the ravine.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
But like, he does not fuck around. Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like, oh
I
no,
love that.
somebody's killing Satan's whores, and then I was like, oh wait, it's.
I love how they tried so hard, and then they're just like, oh well, time for bed, time to go and have a sleep. Like they don't even think maybe he'll come and.
Yeah.
They're full of horse blood. They need to sleep them off.
Sleepy from delicious pony blood.
Nom,
nom, nom, nom,
pony blood.
Oh my god.
Also, when like I think Dracula makes his way into Mina's room when she's in the asylum, and he's that green mist, and he's there, right? And he's like in the bed with her. That whole scene was just so dramatic, so over the top. Like,
did you notice the horrendous ADR though from both of them? It was just ridiculous, and it really took me out of the moment of that.
Oh, I wanted to be taken out. Don't worry.
Lovely flat. There's water. There's toiletries if you need. There's a nice kitchenette there above an insane asylum. £1,450 per calendar month.
Yep, that's accurate for London prices.
Well, I did write down that Dracula, right? He's buying up all these London properties. He's part of the problem in London for house prices.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I bet he's turned them all into Airbnb.
He's a landlord.
He's a fucking landlord, and he's not. Those could have been sold to new buyers. Starting a family, lovely starter homes. But no, this fucking rich person from somewhere else has decided to buy it all up and not actually live in them. It's just something to do with taxes.
Like when all the Brits go overseas and they buy properties in France, and
it's my holiday home, and I'm using it
Spain,
for maybe once a year.
Yeah. It's great. It's good stuff. But yeah, they were like making out, and it's
very emotional.
It's very emotional.
Dracula starts like getting upset and emo.
He does. He's like, oh, but I was kind of impressed at various points, because he did have moments of like, oh, but I don't want to do this to you. I don't want to like condemn you and make you into me. And she's like, no, she was like fucking down bad, wanting it.
Yeah, because he's like seduced her and mesmerized her and got into her head. So I don't think it's fully consensual. That's what I'm saying.
You don't think? Because I was confused. I was like, has he like hypnotized her, or is she like becoming and remembering her old self from like 4 centuries ago?
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I had no idea like who was controlling her, if she was being controlled. Is she in love? Is she remembering her old self? Is she confused? It was very all over the place at
I think that like he's definitely got power over her, because even when she married Jonathan, she's still thinking about him. She's still like, wow, he's fucking like there's something about him.
Why would she marry Jonathan though? Like,
she loves him.
Right.
He's just a lawyer clerk and she's just a school teacher, a schoolmaid, whatever it was.
He was a girl, I was a boy. No, wait, that's not right.
Beautiful song though. She starts hitting him when he's like, I am what everybody wants to kill, and she's like, you fucking shit! How did you not tell me this sooner?
I am nothing. And that kind of thing, gets all emotional. And then, he sort of cuts himself like on his belly or something, or like lower chest.
Oh yeah.
And she sucks the blood because she wants to taste his blood and turn into a vampire.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it works. He bites you and then you suck his blood.
Yes,
and,
you have to like exchange it.
She's like sucking like low down on his body, and he's like cooming, and it's like it's like she's sucking his cock. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's implied that it's sort of a similar thing.
Yeah,
it's a very sensual
sexual
thing. But he does look like he gives really good cuddles, because he wraps his arms around him. That'd be nice.
He really embraced it, but then it was hilarious when they walked in and she's just like hugging nothing. She's just on her knees on the bed.
I loved that. That was
I
so
laughed
funny.
hard.
And then you get a jump scare when his like fucking vampire face just appears.
Yeah. I think, does he also, I don't remember why I put this, but I put comes in Dracula. Did he like come?
What?
I don't know.
Excuse me?
I don't know. He like,
Well, it was like he was coming when she was sucking his blood.
Yeah.
Like, it really, really was.
yeah. Because I don't,
The whole
it's-
feeding thing is very, it apparently seems to be quite sexual because Lucy's bloody, she's all over the place when she's getting fed upon.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
probably is very. I mean,
it's all just like cooming
yeah.
constantly.
Well, when Lucy got, when she got bit and she was turning at every given point, even though she was like writhing in pain, it also looked and sounded very sensual and very sexual.
I don't think it was pain. I think it was erotic, and I think everyone thought she was in terrible pain and suffering, but she was loving it.
She
and
did
turning
not
into
look
a vampire.
well at one point, though.
Well, that's because she was turning into like a fucking undead,
right.
a vampire.
All I noticed
Nosferatu,
was that her titty just kept coming
whore
loose.
of the devil.
Yeah.
Oh my god, all the time.
It-
Tits are spilling out everywhere in this movie. My lord.
Yeah, anytime she was writhing in pain, her titties just came free the titty. It was just out and about. And Anthony Hopkins is like, having to pay attention to her face, and they've like grabbed her and like pulled her back up on the pillow. I'm like, very professional, like not looking down.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And I love that then her fiance immediately walks in on them. It's like Anthony Hopkins is holding her and her tits out.
Well, ironically, when her tit was out and then the fiance walks in, her tit was out, it cuts to the fiance, and then it cuts back to them, and her breasts were covered again. So I was like, oh,
my god.
interesting.
Add it to the bloopers list. Cinema sins.
Continuity error.
Yeah, so I was like, interesting.
And when Jack first arrives, and he's like, I'm here as your doctor. Your fiance is very worried about you. Here, let me give you something. And she's like, oh, kiss me, Jack. And he's like, okay.
Yeah, he didn't.
That's the thing. She
Immediately.
seduces. She does the same thing with Quincy later.
Yeah.
He just goes in for a kiss and she goes to bite him.
would not kiss that.
You don't have a choice in that situation. You're like mesmerized into kissing them.
What? No.
Yeah,
Say,
so
be
it
gone,
works.
she-devil, and get the cross out, and
You go full Van Helsing.
yeah.
You whore of Satan!
The power of Christ compels you. And that's what he did to her when she was in the coffin.
Yeah.
Got the.
Oh, I love that scene so much. It's so good.
Yeah,
I did
like-
find it very creepy when she came down the stairs with
the
child.
with the child,
and
yeah.
it was just so quiet, and she was singing to it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really kind of like, that's great atmosphere.
I loved
She was going to
her.
eat that kid.
She was, yeah. Her makeup and the headpiece that she had on and the dress were just beautiful. They were so.
At this point, she does not look human anymore.
No, she's dead. She's
And a vampire.
well, because they went down there to decapitate her. I do love, yeah. So going back to that scene where he's like very calm, very collected, and they're at her funeral, at her wake, and he's like, yeah, we're just gonna have to, cut off her head.
Stake her in the heart, cut off her head,
Stake her in the heart. And I was like, bro, she's
then burn the head.
yeah, just very, very, very violent and brutal at this woman's
What's
wake.
to burn the heart?
No, I think just drive
Yeah,
a stake and then cut off her head.
She was in a glass coffin, which seems like a very strange decision.
Very strange,
I
but
was like,
Have.
beautiful.
it wouldn't last with that coffin in any situation. I know she was entombed rather than interred, which is underground.
Oh, yeah, as opposed to
She's
being...
in a
Which would-
sarcophagus in a
She's in a
mausoleum.
sarcophagus, which means that she's not got dirt piled on it, which would smash it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to last, is that? It's not a very good way of doing it. And nobody's looking at her when she's in a tomb anyway. Come on.
True, because
Very strange.
they even had the, very heavy, stone. She was encased in, there was a coffin and there was, the big, big thing, because they had to, get hammers and stuff to like unhinge it and then move it away. But she wasn't even in there. She'd sort of gone for a walk to get the child, and then she came back. So,
I love that when they finally managed to open this heavy sarcophagus lid and it's just empty.
Yeah.
And then she comes down the stairs with the kid.
Well, the fiance was like, "What have you done with her? Where is she?" And he's like, "What the fuck? What do you mean? Like, what have I done with her? Like, what do you? I'm the one who said we need to do this to begin with. Why would I have like stolen her dead body? Like, we came down here to do this one thing. Why would I take her out of the coffin beforehand? Just makes no sense."
And there's the bit where Van Helsing pulls the cross on her and she gets into the sarcophagus and it's like reversed footage.
Yeah.
I love that. It's so
Of her
good.
climbing out. It's reversed as she's climbing in.
The use of like reversing film and like slowing down like footage is just, it adds to that sort of weird ethereal sort of
It's
feeling of it.
uncanny. It's
Yeah.
unnatural.
Yeah. No, it looked cool though.
And then there's just a moment, and then she like raises her head and just spews blood all over Van Helsing.
I loved
It's
it.
so fucking good.
As a last ditch fuck you. Even though he was like, she was well and truly in that tomb again, and she was just like blah blah blah, blah, sprayed it all over his face, and then just quietly goes back to sleep, I guess, and then they cut off her head.
Have a little nap.
Take a little
Yeah.
nap.
I like the bit when like Van Helsing's explaining to her fiance that you know take the stake, drive it into her heart, do it now. And as soon as he says do it now, the guy just does it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
He's fine
Lord
with that.
Arthur just hammers that
He's
stake
going
right into her.
absolutely mad about it as well. Like he's going for it. Like yeah, woo!
Yeah.
Hammering away.
Well, because he was so like, oh, I'd give anything for her, and I love her, and I'd give her my last drop of blood, and really just, in love with her and wants to protect her. But he just didn't think twice when he was told, put a stake in that bitch's heart. But I guess he did what?
She's a whore of Satan now. It's too late for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you also like to talk about the ending bit where it's like it seems almost anticlimactic how Dracula dies,
A little bit,
Because-
yeah.
Well, it's better than the book. Jesus.
Yeah.
The book is very anticlimactic.
It's just like they find him and they fucking stake him, don't they?
He just turns into dust, and then that's
Yeah.
it, the end.
But I mean, they did pretty good with that. But it's like they had to try and zhuzh it up with a big chase scene and stuff. Which
That
There's
whole
chases
end-
on horseback. There's guns shooting off
it just
everywhere.
that felt really fucking stupid. Like they could have knocked
They
that
got to
out.
get in before the sun sets, so it's like a ticking clock element.
It felt really unnecessary. And like the last thing I expected, and I'm not complaining because it was kind of cool to see the guys all band together to like go after him, but it felt a bit messy. Just the whole chase sequence, and then they were like, but then like he could read Mina's thoughts. Dracula could read her thoughts, and I think he could see what they were doing and their next move. And
It was so funny, the whole thing where, like, we're going to head him off. We're taking the train. We'll be there in 3 days. It'll take him a week 'cause he's got to go around the Rock of Gibraltar. And at Gibraltar, we've got a guy, lookout, and we're gonna stop him in the Black Sea or whatever when he comes to Bulgaria.
I was learning
and,
so much
then
about geography and history from all of this,
and they get there, and then he's not there. He's gone to like the next port, and then they get to the next port, and he's not there either. They stopped the ship somewhere and quickly escaped. And it's none of it makes sense.
no,
None of it really makes sense.
no,
but
not
I
at
don't
all.
know.
And then like they would I guess they had because they said he had like soldiers willing to do his bidding. Whoever had him in a carriage, right? So
there's the gypsies that are active. They're basically like his mercenary army.
yeah. And they had him there, and they were like chasing them down and shooting after them. It was just so bizarre. And then they which we talked about, they branched off Anthony Hopkins, so Van Helsing and Mina. And I don't even know why they did that. he said, "Oh, I vouch to protect you," and
they were using her as bait so that he would go straight to the castle on the long way around, and they could try and cut him off like that. So Mina was the lure. They were like, "You go straight to the castle, Mina," because they could do that, and we will try and head him off because he knew where Mina was, which is why that he stopped the train.
Right.
And I don't think they really explicitly said it, because also there's the fact that like the information that Mina's receiving is sort of being fed to Dracula as well.
Yeah, so
they have this connection.
In Jonathan's diary, he says, "I feel bad using Mina as bait," or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So they send her off, and they go a different way so that he won't know. Mina won't know where they are, so Dracula won't know where they are.
Yeah.
You dig?
Yeah, I dig.
You did?
I just found it hilarious when, he was like, she's turning, she's, he's trying to protect her, but she's also like spying for the enemy too. But he's like trying to give her food. He's trying to feed her. First of all, she's turning into a vampire. Second of all, she's basically working with the enemy at this point. As soon as she gets her tits out to seduce him, he like falls for a second, but then he like gets the cross out.
Well, yeah, because of the hypnotic power of vampires. That's how it works.
Hypnotic power of tits.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
He does go straight for the tits. I think he motorboats her, and I was like,
I don't think he motorboats her.
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure he gets his head right in her bosom.
Oh my goodness.
I will have to double check, but I just remember thinking.
Yeah, do some extra research.
My man. My man, Anthony Hopkins, going straight for the titties. Oh, dear.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's... And then, obviously, they managed to get there, and I do think that Gary Oldman... His death acting is way better than Quincy's going, been shot, been stabbed a bit. But I like...
Gary Oldman is great. I think he's
very good at acting.
Yeah.
So he just gets his throat slit immediately upon exiting a box of dirt.
Oh, that was so good. Like, Harker jumps on top of the carriage cart, where the crate is, and the sun is just set. Dracula explodes out of the crate, and Harker immediately slices his fucking throat open. It all happens so quick.
Yeah.
But good reactions on Jonathan Harker there.
And then he's like, okay. Oh, I did write down, when she's shouting the blue flames out. I wrote down, whoop-de-doo-de glorious ah! Whoop-de-doo-de glorious ah.
Is that what she says?
Well, it's Romanian, but it sounds exactly like that.
Right. Okay.
And then Jonathan's like, just leave her, we're done now. Like, okay, great, cool. He just doesn't seem to give a shit. And then
he knows that Mina has to finish this.
Why?
And he trusts her.
Why does she have to finish it?
I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah, and also...
But he leaves it up to her.
He's like, I wrote down, give me peace, and then she stabs him further, and I wrote down, no, not like that, you stupid cow, I meant shut up. But does she go... She's very good at beheading, by the way. Very swift beheading. Does she go back home with Jonathan, or does she carry on just hanging out there? Does she carry on vamping?
She goes back to Jonathan and they try and live a normal life.
I don't know, because he's like...
We'll find out in Dracula 2.
Electric
Dracula will return.
Dead and loving it, yeah.
I don't know, because Jonathan was like, I'll leave her. I think she's made her choice now or something. Because like they pointed a gun at her and he's like, no, don't. And he sort of was like content with that. It didn't seem like he was trying to fight that. Is it like
spite? It's like, she fucked up. I'm just going to leave her to it.
I would. I fucking would. I mean, she seemed
fucking bitch.
Crazy.
She cheated on me. I know I cheated on her with 3 whores.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's not
to be
quite
fair,
even,
this is worse. She's in an emotional... She's been emotionally cheating on him. And
Yeah,
that
that's
really hurt.
worse.
Also,
Sure.
yeah, and so Van Helsing is making out with Mina, and then he like gets down on his knees and like puts his face in between her tits.
Okay, now this is becoming fanfic. What is going on here?
I'm serious. I am so serious right now. But yeah, there you go. He's a man of culture. But yeah, I don't know. The ending, yeah, it was a little bit anticlimactic. The chase and obviously the guy dying at the end, and she sort of.
Did you not like the bit in the chapel when like the candles magically light and the cross is kind of restored, and
Yeah.
God, who'd formerly forsaken Vlad,
Yes.
is now shining a golden light on his face.
Yeah.
He transforms back into his young
His
self.
young self. I just found it funny that to begin with, he was like, I renounce God. So if you renounce God back then, you'd just be turned into a
You just
vampire.
become a vampire. Yeah, that's how it works.
And a big cross just starts bleeding.
A lot of blood out of that cross, and the statue's eyes, and the candles as well. Everything was bleeding.
I thought it was pretty cool.
It was very cool.
A bit
I
over the top.
I put in my notes at the end, True Love's kiss. Obviously when she kissed him and he like started to revert back.
Kiss that gross, big, gooey face.
So
of his.
gross, yeah.
Damn.
But I was like, I can't take her seriously with that fucking branding on her head. But then it like,
Oh, he was
But then
so
it
funny, wasn't it?
disappears.
yeah, then it starts to fade. I was like, oh, well, there you go.
Because he died. And then Jonathan's not grey anymore.
Yeah.
Keith's here. What are you doing, you bugger? Please don't knock things over.
Please.
I've come here to knock something over, mother.
He bloody is as well. So the shout was after he drives his sword into the cross
Mm.
and he screams. That was actually screamed by Lux Interior, the lead singer of punk band The Cramps.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
that is cool.
There's so much fucking trivia on this. We would never get through the IMDb list.
Did you watch the credits first of all?
No, I turned it off. I was tired.
There's a song by Annie Lennox at the end.
God.
It's called Love Song for a Vampire, and it's real bad. It's not one of her bangers. It's a pretty bad song. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola notes on the DVD commentary that although the three actresses playing Dracula's brides had agreed to appear nude in this movie, everybody on the set was too timid to ask them to take off their clothes before filming their scenes. Coppola told his son Roman to ask them, but Roman didn't want to do it either, and asked another crew member to do it.
That is so funny.
Roman was second unit director and in charge of the effects, the practical effects,
Oh.
which was nice. It's a nice job to get if you're the
It
son
is.
of Francis Ford Coppola.
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby.
Are we going to give our final thoughts before we get into the trivia?
Oh, yeah,
That's
sure.
what we normally do, I think.
Yeah. What's your pick? So you can go first.
Sure. It's a film that I've been meaning to rewatch for a while because it's an old favourite. I've watched it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times before this.
Yeah.
I like that it's pretty faithful to the novel, and I love Anthony Hopkins in it so much.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins just makes up for Keanu Reeves really not being great in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of the reasons the film is actually very funny in places. The makeup and special effects are absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Fantastic. Like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a solid film. The pacing isn't amazing. Some parts of it drag. Some parts of it just so much happens in like 1 minute. It's a little bit mad. At the ending in particular feels very rushed. Like the very end, just everything all happens. I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. It's a good film. It's well worth watching, especially if you like vampires and if you like Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins, because they really shine in it.
They do.
7.5 out of 10. Simon Lane.
Lovely.
Super. I have watched this. I don't remember how many times I watched this. I've watched it ages ago. I watched it last year. So it feels quite recent to me. I don't usually watch films like this very, very often if I don't like properly love them. So I was thinking, £3.49 to rent this out. I could just watch the Red Letter Media video on it and just say that. But I think that it's solid. It's it doesn't feel like 2 hours, really. It doesn't feel, the pacing's quite good, I find, up until the end. I think the first half is a lot stronger than the second half. Don't like Keanu Reeves in it. He's just a bit of a sad sack of shit. But I understand why he was cast. I understand all of it. And I think Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins really saved the day. Even Tom Waits is better at acting than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Like fucking famed actor, man. So I have given it 4 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd, which still remains. So that's like 8 out of 10. I guess.
Holy shit.
And I was wondering like whether we should be breaking things down into like scores out of 10 for the story and the effects, because the effects really bloody pushed that.
Yes.
They pushed it up for me.
Yeah.
Because that's in-camera effects and like practical effects are just awesome to me. And the acting was a bit shitty, but it sort of balanced it out. I love the sets. I love all the effects. I love the vibe of everything. Yeah. And it kept things very, very true to the book, like Simon said. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for that.
Good Lord. You've given the last 3 films 8 out of 10, Sophie.
Have I?
She's been enjoying them.
I've just been having a really nice little time, haven't I?
That's good. That's great.
We're on a winning streak.
Just wait until G gets a pick next.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
G-Star Games, what are your final thoughts and rating of Bram Stoker's Dracula?
So I'd never seen the movie before. I have like heard of it, seen things about it, you know, the I guess the things that really stood out. So I'd never seen it before. I think when I mentioned it to ISP, I was like, have you seen it before? And he was like, oh yeah, I watched it in school in English. Which is
in English?
Yes, which is hilarious because he said that they would forward the sex scenes, so they'd skip past the sex scenes as well.
No, it's just really fast. It's just really fast sex, really fast Wolfman rape.
Yeah, I was like, so I didn't know what to expect really, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think Francis Ford Coppola, Godfather, so I like him. Apocalypse Now. He's a great director. I didn't know how he would fare in something like this, in this kind of genre, because it's obviously very different to The Godfather. Great effects, great acting from the staple ones.
Sorry.
Great acting from the staple actors like Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman and Renfield and stuff. The guy who played Renfield. Yeah, it dragged out a little bit, not loads. I feel like there were some points that didn't need to be fluffed up so much. I think some things could have been like, done in a few scenes and it didn't need to drag out as much. But yeah, all in all, I think it is a 7 out of 10.
Oh,
cool. I'd say that's a pretty clean sweep there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, we all similarly like The Prestige and Dead Again.
Yes.
I think those are the only 3 movies, including this one, that we've all liked.
Yes. I think it was
fantastic.
A fabulous movie.
So what was the budget for it, and what did it make in the box office?
The budget was $40 million, and at the box office it made $216 million.
Damn.
So it did very well.
And that doesn't even
good.
include like rentals as well, I don't think.
It basically breathed new life into the vampire movie genre.
Oh.
Or subgenre. There was just a wave of vampire movies that came out on the back of this. And it did win 3 Oscars as well. So it was a well-regarded, successful film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did so much right. There's just so much to commend it for. From the acting to even all the costumes were just insane and wonderful and beautiful. The story was, it was a bit all over the place sometimes, but it was still good. There's a lot to admire about it. I think especially for the time, it's such a outstanding feat.
Yeah, it's very fantastic looking.
Yeah.
Do we have any favorite bits of trivia? If we don't want to go through everything.
No, we can't go through everything.
There's a
I
lot.
have been reading about vampire bats though. Because I was does that bat exist when he was talking about this bat?
I thought tropical pampas vampire bat. I thought
that vampire bats could eat other things as well. And I was really interested in how it works for them, So I'm still reading about it, but I love how that's the trivia that I take from this. I'm like, how does hematophagy work? But I've had a little couple of little bits of trivia given to you there, but what about you guys? Other than the fact that at one point during filming, a double was used to portray the wolf beast version of Dracula when Gary Oldman suffered an allergic reaction to the makeup.
Amazing.
That's great. It's
a good bit of trivia, isn't it?
That is a good bit of trivia.
I've got two bits of trivia that are almost the opposite of each other, weirdly. The director, Francis Ford Coppola, had the three bros, Jack, Arthur, and Quincy, the actors, which are Richard E. Grant, Carrie Ells? How do you say that? From Princess Bride.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Is that him? I thought I recognized his face.
Yeah.
Lord Arthur.
I was trying to place him for ages, but I couldn't figure it out.
Gee, which husband would you have picked out of those three?
Who would you have wifed up?
So it was either between the Texan, the doctor, or
the heroin addict doctor, who works in an insane asylum. The Lord or the crass American.
I don't know. I would probably go for the Lord, even though the crass American seems like a little bit of fun, but probably the Lord.
Yeah, I would agree there, just because I would marry for money in this instance. I mean, look, did you see his fucking house? Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
So those three actors they embarked on a series of adventures together to bond, including horseback riding and hot air ballooning.
This is adorable.
Build up some camaraderie.
That is so cute and sweet.
Steve Buscemi was the first choice to play Renfield, but turned it down.
Fuck me, that would have been amazing.
It's so good, wasn't it?
Francis Ford Coppola was like, yeah, he looks insane. Get him. Put him in an insane asylum.
He looks more crazy.
So conversely, Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder had kind of a falling out during the filming. They had become friends during rehearsals, and then during the actual filming, they kind of just hated each other with no indication as to what happened. Winona Ryder says that she felt that Gary Oldman was dangerous because he was very intense, and he was offended by this. But since then, they've apparently made their peace with each other. But there was a rumor that Gary Oldman played a dirty practical joke on Winona Ryder, and she did not appreciate that.
I want to know
things.
What the dirty practical joke is.
Oh. Well, do you think he went full method and sent her a dead rat in a box?
I think he probably put cling film over her toilet seat so that when she sat down, she just pissed all over it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, saucy drama. Well.
Saucy drama.
I mean, he does seem intense in his acting, but I mean, that's acting, right? But yeah, he does seem...
Apparently... 25 minutes of footage was removed to make it less bloody because preview audiences found it too gory. That's so bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Ooh.
Apparently, the little girl who Lucy carried into the crypt was apparently terrified of her in her vampire makeup.
She's probably still having nightmares about it.
Yeah, so they had to like sweet talk the kid to get her back into the actor's arms.
Oh, kid.
I know.
That is ridiculous.
Oh my god, yeah, there's a lot of trivia. There's a lot. This is like the most trivia I've seen for any of the films we've done, I think. This is a lot. And they're all like
It is a lot.
they're very heavily upvoted too. So that's how you know there's just a lot. There's a lot going on.
Should we just move on to the would it make a good video game question?
Yeah, sure.
Castlevania. Castlevania.
It was made into a video game.
Many times.
I played it on the Super Nintendo.
Oh.
And I played it on an emulator briefly this weekend.
Oh.
You start off in a pub and you're fighting like drunks and dogs.
Right.
And apparently at the end you fight Dracula, but Dracula's like 4 times the size of you.
Amazing.
He's like
Sure,
this
I've
giant
played this.
Dracula.
I think
in the
I
red
have.
armor.
I do love that red armor. That red armor is amazing.
It's
Oh, it's so
brilliant,
cool,
yeah.
like muscles.
Yeah. Very berserky.
I remember it being a pretty good game, and then
Is
I
it like
played it.
It's a platformer, isn't it?
It's kind of a platform. It's basically Castlevania.
Right, yeah.
So I remember it being pretty good, and then I played it, and I thought it was fucking dog shit. But I couldn't remember much about it, and I think one of the reasons I can't really remember much about it is because you can beat it in about 40 minutes. It's
That's pretty
very, very short. So rent it from Blockbuster. Don't waste your money buying it for 60 quid from Dixon's. My recommendation.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if I don't think Blockbuster exists, famously. Dixon's, I don't know if they are even around. Maybe go to Tandy's instead.
Oh dear. Well, I think that's a wrap on Bram Stoker's Dracula
Yep.
by Francis Ford Coppola.
so.
Well, great choice, Simon. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful addition to the YOMP.
And I know that you can't go again this week, but have you replaced it on your list again?
I haven't yet. I want to give it a think. So I want to
Okay,
add a good
that's-
horror movie.
Definitely fair enough.
So I am not rolling. It's no me, no Simon.
No, Simon.
Not someone.
So it's between G and Booth. Have you changed either of your lists?
No.
Don't think so. I've got like a list outside of my proper list. So obviously whenever one gets chosen, I can just, switch it out. But I don't think I want to switch anything out because I know people want us to actually try to get through the titles that we have on our list
Right.
already without substituting them, if that makes sense. So I don't want to mess with that too much. Like, I kind of want to switch out The Fly, but I kind of feel bad because it's been there for so long.
I don't think you should.
Yeah, so
I don't think you should.
exactly. So we'll
if
just
it's
leave
not
it.
if the dice is not rolling for it, maybe that's fate.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to roll a d6 to see which number on either of your lists it could be. Let's get on with it. It's a 2.
Again. It was 2 last time. I'm
Lara
sure.
Croft, Tomb Raider, or The Hidden.
Oh, it's different.
Which one could it be? So I reckon odd will be G, even will be Booth. Are we okay with that?
We're good with that.
Good with that.
All right. So odd is G. It's odd.
It's G.
Oh!
Means we're watching Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
Oh my
God.
Oh my god.
What
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh, boy.
my god.
You're gonna love Chris Barry in it. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
It's gonna make you laugh.
Oh, do you know, I recently Googled this because I was watching Red Dwarf and I was like, Chris Barry is so fucking good at acting. Like, what, he was a bit wasted on Red Dwarf almost because he was such a good impressionist and stuff. And so I looked up his IMDb and I found out that he was the butler. Forgotten his name. So I'm going to enjoy it for that.
Yeah.
Chives, I think, is the name of the
Chives?
Chives. Yeah. That's a bottom reference, G. You're not going to...
No, but it sounds like a... Yeah. Never mind. Don't worry. It just sounded funny to me.
Anyway, I love Chris Barry. This will be great. I'm into it now. Now that Chris Barry's in it.
It's going to be good.
We're in the middle of hopefully not the middle. We're in another run of not having a Booth film.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. This
happens. The dice hate you.
It's fine.
It's been a while.
I'm chill with it.
It's been a while, but hopefully next week we can get a Booth pick.
Yeah, I mean, I have been watching a lot of films this past week on my own anyway, so I've been having a nice time doing that. I watched The Jerk. I watched Prom Night 2 and 3. Prom Night was the Prom Night 2 was really, really good. It's nothing to do with Prom Night 1.
Oh.
But Prom Night 2 is super good.
And they just kept making them.
They just kept making them. A Friend to Die For was fucking shit. And You Thought Your Parents Were Weird, equally shit. Teen Witch, also fucking shit. Once Bitten, a vampire film, fucking shit. It's got Jim Carrey in it. Shit. Mac and Me, though, I love that.
Oh, God. Of course
The
you
Naked
do.
Witch, kind of shit, but she's
These are all the
naked.
movies that you watched
No,
last
it's Naked
week.
Witch.
Different witch film.
No, I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 last week.
Jesus
Crikey.
Christ. Oh
I
my
haven't been
God.
well, so
Fair enough.
Is that why you're going to reenact the Mac and Me wheelchair scene?
Yes. I'm so excited to do that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We're going to have to send G that short clip or any like Paul Rudd interview.
Yeah, I mean,
To,
Mac and G.
Mac and G.
Oh my God.
Mac and G. That guy was really in a wheelchair. And I was like, wow.
Goals.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of YOMP. We do have a Patreon where you can get episodes a week early, a whole week early. You can look at our notes. You can get bonus episodes. And you can also get your name in the list of executive producers, just like at the end of this episode. Done my spiel. See you later.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Why are we saying see you later? We're not seeing anyone.
I'm
This is a
seeing
podcast.
everybody later. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, it's G. Just wanted to say a very big thank you to our Giga Yompers who support us over on the Patreon. You guys are absolutely phenomenal and we appreciate you so much. Special shout out to Native Blood, Lawrence, Sleepy DIJ, Cara Jackson, Scott5877, Kyle, Cornelius Vander, I'm a Robot, Luck, and Anki. We appreciate you guys so much and we hope you enjoyed this episode and we will catch you next time. Bye!